Today, on Be Something Wonderful, stop trying to deal with and change reality and create it instead. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Good morning from the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. I have a big video today. I want to talk about this client yesterday that I met with, that after 7 months of no contact with her specific person, with her ex, they are now moving in together and planning on getting married. I want to hit exactly the ideas that she embraced to move to this new reality, to move to this new identity. And here's what she said. It didn't matter how many techniques, examples, answers, stories I got from others. It was never enough. I felt like I needed more or something else to finally get it and be fulfilled or manifest what I wanted. It was exhausting. She was always looking for another example, another story, another technique to tweak that might work, right? That would give her hope of fulfillment sometime in the future. Do you see it? So she was imagining and affirming, but she was still putting it in the future that maybe this will do it, right? But it never being enough. It never getting her there. Her never moving to the fulfillment here and now, right? All of that, it is exhausting, right? It's exhausting to have hope and then lose hope and then have hope again and then lose it. It keeps your awareness on lack and the hope for fulfillment in the future, only to lose hope and be disappointed. And then the hope again, it's exhausting. And she specifically talked about a video that I did on The Chosen, that show about the life of Jesus. But there was one video, I've done a few videos on The Chosen, but there was one specifically, a couple now, at the pool of Bethesda, where Jesus heals the paralyzed man. And that whole idea of Jesus saying to the paralyzed man, I know you don't want false hope, right? Because the man was talking about, I've tried, I've done this, but they won't even let me get there. He's talking about all the conditions preventing him from getting to the pool to be healed, knowing that those conditions they're not the answer, right? They're not going to heal him or move him to fulfillment, right? And then Jesus saying, you don't need this pool. You only need me. In other words, you don't need another technique, another example, another success story, another answer from somebody else. Because that's never enough. You need me. In other words, you need that awareness of already being who you want to be, of already having what you want to have. That does it. That's the one and only source and creator of reality is you. That's what she moved to. She stopped trying to deal with reality, stopped trying to change reality, and decided to create it and be it, right? And stand in that. So let's hit this like we never have before. Remember, wanting, desiring, and waiting to be someone or have something you believe you are not or don't have is exhausting. In other words, you're resisting who you really are. You're resisting your true nature. And that's exhausting, right? Feeling or believing that I am not is exhausting. It's unnatural. Your nature or your name or your natural state of being is fulfillment, is that I am. It's absolute complete fulfillment here and now. I am not is unnatural. Your nature or name is I am, right? Absolute fulfillment here and now. You can't want and desire to be someone or have something that you're not already or you don't already have. Do you see it? That's what's exhausting. If you're believing you have to earn it or get it or find another process or an answer or get another success story to believe that it's possible, right? To keep your hope alive, right? Remember what Neville said, the desirous state is to have it. And then in John 16:23-24, in Scripture it says, Jesus knew this when he said, whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. Whatever you ask source, your source, as source. That's what it means, in my name. Whatever you ask as that source, not to a source outside of you. In my name means in my nature, in that I amness, right? The I am awareness, the one and only reality. In other words, when you ask the Father or the source as source, in other words, being who and what, being conscious of being that person already, being conscious of already having that person, being aware that you're already that person you want to be, being aware that you already have the things that you want to have, you're already all that, then he will give you that. That's what Scripture meant. That's what Neville meant to desire a state, is to have it. You couldn't want it, desire it, imagine it, think of it if it wasn't already yours. That's always a message. The Father, remember, is source. Whatever you ask, source, as source. The Son is the awareness of being that source. So the Father is the great I am, source. The Son is the I am awareness of being that source. So whatever, I and source are one. My source is greater than I, or I and the Father are one, or the Father is greater than I. That's what that means. It means, what does it mean the source is greater? It means that source is greater than whatever you're aware of being in your physical 3D experience right now. But it doesn't mean that you can't be aware, you can only be aware of certain things. Whatever you ask, whatever you're aware of, whatever you want, whatever you imagine, whatever you assume and imagine is yours. If you ask or imagine it, want it, desire it, or are aware of it in my name, in the awareness of being source, being one with source as the Son of God, as Christ, the Son of the living God, right? What do you ask in my name, or nature, as I am awareness, as the one and only source of experience? But normally we're asking from an I am notness. I am not yet who I want to be, but I want it. I desire it. I'm going to assume it. You want to ask in my name means I'm complete already. Who and what you're aware of being, right? He will give you whatever you ask, my Father, whatever you ask, source, in my name, in that I am awareness. He will give you. It's yours, in other words. Father, the source, or God, cannot give you who and what you're not conscious of already being. That's the secret. He will give you whatever you're aware of being and having, he will give you. It's law. It's very clear here, right? And remember, he will give you, meaning it's not that's not to imply the future. That's will as a modal verb to imply conviction, to imply absolute certainty that it's yours. Right? Whatever you ask in my name, he will give you, meaning it's a sure thing. It's not talking about the delay in time and space. It's not talking about the future. It's saying he will give you with absolute certainty. It's will, the modal verb will, as an indicator of absolute certainty, conviction of being that it's yours. That's powerful. Remember, belief is not required when you are aware of already being it, who you desire to be, and already having what you want to have. Why would belief be required if you're already it, if you're already aware of being it? To be who you are, source, right? You don't need belief. You don't need belief. You don't need certain processes and techniques. You don't need examples of how to deal with conditions that you judge as wanted, or 3D reality, or a 3D reality that feels exhausting and dirty to you. I think someone wrote a comment on the board that 3D reality feels exhausting and dirty to them. That keeps your awareness on what you don't want. You don't need any of that. That's why Jesus said, you don't need the pull. You need me. You need that awareness of being. You don't need another success story. Not even another video. You need me, not me, but your I am awareness, your awareness of being. You don't need to keep wanting. You don't need to keep desiring. You don't need to keep waiting and hoping for reality to change. You only need to know it already has changed. Wow. You don't need to keep wanting, desiring, waiting, and hoping for reality to change. You only need to know it already has changed, and you already are and have all that you desire. This is what this client did, right? It wasn't the process techniques or success stories or all the examples or the advice that she was getting. It was her moving to that. That's powerful. And then in John 16, 23, 24, Jesus continues, until now you have not, or you have asked nothing in my name. So remember, Jesus says, whatever you ask my Father in my name, source in my name, it will be given you. But until now, I love that. Remember, it's all here and now. So Jesus is pointing to the eternal now, that you can ask at any moment. You can align with that I amness that you are. You have asked nothing in my name. In other words, I'm aware. Are you already aware of being that which you desire to be? Have you asked in that awareness, that knowing? Have you asked from fulfillment? Because fulfillment is your name or nature. That's what he meant. Nothing. You've asked nothing in fulfillment, in the name or nature of who you already are. You have asked nothing about in the state of already being conscious of being that person you want to be or having what you want. You're wanting, desiring, and waiting for reality to change, but never being aware of the already changed reality. Do you see it? That's what she moved to. She stopped hoping for it, seeking the next process, the next technique, the next video, the next success story, or examples of how to deal with conditions. Some of you go, well, give me an example how to deal with the conditions. Remember, no example will be enough, because as you're in that reality, you're changing the conditions as you deal with them, as you interact with them, as you respond to them. So if you go off of what someone else says, here's an example, and you use that to deal with your conditions, that the conditions are already changing. Do you see it? So it's never enough. There's only one thing you need to do, is declare it. I am that person I desire to be. You don't deal with conditions. You create them the way you want them to be, right? So that will turn your hope into fulfillment. So you're seeking these outside processes or techniques or examples, how to deal with conditions, that will turn your hope into fulfillment, only to be disappointed and exhausted again. That's what was going on with my client. And there was another one of you who wrote on the channel as well, another subscriber, talking about that it's exhausting, that it feels dirty. Right, reality. And I get it. I understand what you're getting at. For a long time. So Jesus says this to the paralyzed man. Because the paralyzed man goes, I've tried. I've hoped. I've tried. I'm trying to get to that pool. I'm looking at success stories and examples on how to deal with these conditions. I'm looking for the next process. I've tried. And Jesus looks at him and says, I know for a long time, I know. And you don't want false hope again. Interesting. The I am awareness in this scene said you don't want false hope again. I understand, but this pull, these conditions you seek, these video success stories, these processes that you hope will get you there, it does nothing for you. It means nothing. In other words, you give reality all the meaning it has. You give power to the processes. You give power to the videos or to the stories or to the examples. They don't have any power inherent in them. You're the power behind them. So there's nothing wrong with the processes. There's nothing wrong with the videos, watching videos. There's nothing wrong with even hearing success stories or even getting examples. But keep in mind that you're the power in reality behind all of those. Those shape according to who you are. They don't exist out there. They exist within you. That's powerful. So Jesus continues, you don't need this pool, you only need me. That's when the paralyzed man was looking off at the conditions. Again, being distracted by the next process, the next story, the next thing that you think can turn it around for you. And what does Jesus say? I am awareness. Look at me. Look at me. Right? Go within. Understand that you are it. You don't need this pool. You only need me, that I am awareness. In other words, what was Jesus saying? Asking my name, right? Until now, you haven't asked. Until this now moment, until this eternal now moment, where you can turn it all around right now. There are no setbacks. There are no comebacks. It's all right now. Ask in my name, in my nature as absolute fulfillment. Decide who you are now, and that changes all conditions. past, present, and future. Changes all realities, past, present, and future. So wanting, desiring, waiting, and hoping, you move from that and just declare, I am source, I am fulfillment, I am who I assume I am. It doesn't mean you necessarily stop imagining and affirming, but you're doing it from the idea that you are the process. Ask and you will receive so that your joy may be full. That's what Jesus continues on in John 16, 23, 24. Ask and you will receive. It's absolute certainty, conviction of being. It's not the future. He's talking about it's absolute yours when you ask in my name. It's yours, right? Your joy may be fulfilled. Fulfillment is yours, right? Wow. So Jesus asked the paralyzed man, and continuing on with this scene, so do you want to be healed? In other words, do you want to be whole? Do you want to be aware that you're whole, complete, and fulfilled already? Right? Do you want to be already for idea that you and your SP and that life you want already exists here and now? That specific person. That's the only question and answer that matters. Do you want to declare fulfillment now? Do you want to live that reality now? And if you do, let's go. That's what Jesus said in the scene. He looks at him and goes, well, let's go. Get up. Pick up your mat and walk. So let's go. Get up. Live that reality. Declare it now. Don't keep looking out at the conditions. Like Jesus said, look at me. Look at your within, at that awareness. Declare it. Stop trying to deal with and change reality and create it instead. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. For joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin. For joining us on TikTok. We now have TikTok flowing with shorts. Lots of shorts on TikTok. You can find us there at Be Something Wonderful if you're on TikTok. Also on the membership channel. We have a channel that has exclusive content, including live streams. We've already done 9 live streams. We're going to do our 10th live stream. We're going to go live on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel at the end of this month on Sunday, January 28th, 2024. We're going to hit some of your questions that you're sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com. I'm going to be with you live right here from the studios in Las Vegas, and it's going to be fun. It always is. So join us there. If you're a member, join us. If you're not a member and want to check it out, there's a link below. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with the studios here of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. Until next time, we'll see you soon.